Good morning and welcome. Helps if we get the microphone over a bit rusty. Good morning, you're with Skeins Diaries. I am Marie. It is the 8th of February and I am back. Episode 303. Yes, I know. It feels like a long time between drinks, doesn't it? A very long time between drinks. And it's so good to be back. So good to see everybody back at work and to get my feet back under the desk again. My head is just spinning because obviously I have been away for 5 weeks and just everything that's gone on, across January with Stitch and Summer, and now we're into February, and that's the thing with February. February for us is all about pre-planning for epic sales. So we've got our February spotlight, which I'll talk about in a moment, but it's Claire and I have just literally been banging out all the things while I've been away. And one of the things too while I've been away is I've had quite a hardcore digital detox, and I have been off a lot of devices, very, very little, let's put it this way, a very, very light digital footprint the entire time I was gone. I was, pretty much overseas. I only got my feet back on terra firma here in New Zealand on Monday, and just been kind of getting all my little ducks in a row. So it's been nice. It's nice to be home though, isn't it? Isn't it wonderful to go away? But it's always nice to come back. Always nice to come back. So just been getting things organised. And the good thing is did I complete projects while I was away? And I talked about this a lot. And as you know, I was working on the field cardigan, and I took away also to the herbalist, and I took away to my purse knitting, my Niada that I've been just chipping away at for months and months and months, my pick up, put down project that I've had on the go for months, as I always do. So that's what I packed to go away. Well, I can say that I didn't actually do a tremendous amount of knitting while I was gone, but I did do some knitting. And the first I'm going to show you, and I will preface this and say this has not been blocked. I'm actually going to hopefully get this blocked actually this week. I have worn it a couple of times because I wanted to get this finished to wear while I was away. And part of the reason for that is in the 5-week period that I was away, I was in South America, but I literally went from Uruguay all the way down through to beyond Tierra del Fuego, and all the way down there is a hell of a lot colder. So I literally went from, I think 37 degrees was the hottest day, down to -1. So I did want to have the cardigan finished, and here it is. I'm going to pop it on for you, and I am happy with it. It does need a little block. It won't need an aggressive block actually, though. Bang the table. I'm going to jump up so you can have a look. There we go. So there she is. Lengthwise, it just needs a little bit of a block to sit right, but we're pretty happy with the very happy with the fit, the shape, and as you can see, everything, and I just want to block it just to have everything here sitting nicely. But in the end, no, very, very happy with how everything went. It is definitely a slow crafting project. And in fact, I'm going to tell you about these buttons in a second. It is I think she called it slow knitting, Camilla, in the pattern. I'm not going to rush out and knit another one of these again, I have to say, but as predicted, as I said to you, I think I was in through the body section and before I headed away, and as predicted, once I got through past the field here, it flowed incredibly quickly. It was a very, very quick thing to knit once you get past this part here. It just goes like that, very, very fast. And I did actually make my sleeves slightly shorter. I like bracelet length sleeves. So that's for me. So I just modified that. Oh, and actually I did make a modification. Marie, modification. The modification I made is she had a fitted sleeve in the pattern, And I didn't want a fitted sleeve actually. So this is I've just not done any shaping in the sleeve at all. So this is just a straight sleeve, completely straight. And all I've gone and done, oh, as you can see a little bit there, all I've gone and done is when I've gotten to this point here, I've literally reduced my stitches by 50% and done my ribbing. So that's all I've done. So I'm actually much happier with that. And the reason I did that is because it's the sort of cardigan that obviously you would have another layer under. And I just felt, looking at the graduations with the fitting for that sleeve, it would just feel a bit squished and bulky in that sleeve. And I hate feeling kind of all crammed up. So yes, I did. So that was the one thing I did do. And to be fair, it wasn't the sleeve, the beginning of the sleeve here from the yoke wasn't a big sleeve circumference to begin with anyway. So it's not as if it's like a massive big balloony sleeve or not, but I did, that is the one modification that I did make. And then I got these buttons to go with it. And it was quite funny because I went to, it was, finding buttons is always difficult, but I'm quite happy with these. They're really, really cute. Look at that. They're just a little acetate button. I think they go beautifully, and it's just a little souvenir from being away. And of course, I'm really, really happy with the performance of the yarn. So this was Cozy and Champagne with Pearl from Whisper Fine, and they are exact colors together, and they just look absolutely, I think they just look perfect. And when I wore it, so I got it finished, and so the trip was divided up. The trip for us was sort of divided up into 3 parts. So we were away for 5 weeks. We had the first chunk just in a tiny little town in Uruguay, on the coast, and just sort of chilled really and had a family holiday, which is where I finished this. And then we had 5 days in Montevideo and sort of the city, and I actually had some work stuff to do. So I actually worked a few days while I was there, which I will tell you about in another time, another point. And that was loads of fun. And then the last part was we did go on a cruise. And as you know, I love cruises. And honestly, I couldn't have planned this if I tried. I get onto the cruise. I find out, I think the second day that I'm on there, that someone had said, "Oh, are you one of the knitters?" Because the second day I was sort of out doing some knitting, having a coffee and doing some knitting. And I said, "Yeah, I'm a knitter, but I'm not one of the knitters." Anywho, that the following day I met a lady who was also doing some knitting, and an American lady, and we struck up a conversation, and she asked if I was part of the knitters group. And I said, "Is there a knitters group on board?" And apparently there were 90 on board with a knitters group with Trendsetter Yarns and Casa Pinker. So typical. Trust Marie to go away on a cruise, and there's a knitting group on board. So as the time went across, this lady that I got chatting to, she wasn't part of the knitting cruise either, but she did know Casa Pinker because she had done several retreats with her previously, and they were friends. So I did get to meet Bronwyn Head. So that was wonderful. We got to meet and have a coffee together, and have a chew fat and talk about sort of design and yarn and the differences with things in the US and New Zealand. So that was loads of fun. And also too, I was able to pop up and in the conference room where they had this, had their classes and displays, meet the team from Trendsetter Yarn. So a huge hello to Heidi and her husband, and it was so nice to meet them. They were really welcoming, and yeah, I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe that you meet other knitters on the cruise. And then of course I'm once it got cold, because we were heading down to the southern part, this bad boy got knocked out for a couple of days because it was a little chilly. And of course, what happens when you're on a ship and there's a whole bunch of knitters, you get knitters coming up going, "Well, that's a such and such by so and so," and so it was hilarious. It was hilarious. It doesn't matter where you go in the world, there are always knitters, and we are all the same. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. So I'm really thrilled I got this done and finished. Now, while I was still in the first part of the holiday, I cast on the Herbalist. and got started with that and actually got a bit way down it. And I'm here to tell you something. I frogged it. I didn't like it. I know, right? I probably worked on it for about 4 or 5 days and yeah, didn't like it. Didn't like how the color work was sitting. It was, you know, how sometimes looks like a dog, smells like a dog, barks like a dog, scratches like a dog, and it's a dog. It was a dog. And I'm not saying that the design didn't work, but it wasn't probably my yarn selection. I think I would have needed something grippier, and it wasn't working. And you know how sometimes when things aren't working, you've just got to put your big girl pants on and walk away. So that's what I did. So I did that. But the nice thing is because I was then on a ship with luggage, with all this yarn, that I was like, oh, I'm not really happy about it. I've kept some back and I'm going to actually knit, because I like the combination of those 3 colours. I am actually going to knit a cowl, which is a design that I worked on in 2020. And I did a couple of prototypes for, but it's like my ratio poncho and everything. It was on the round to it situation. I'm actually going to knit that yarn up into that cowl and I'm going to get that published. That is one of the things I have told myself that I'm going to do. So I've kept some yarn back to do that. And then the rest of it, I gifted to the knitters on board and gave away. So, and spread a little bit of Kiwi and Skeins love about the ship. So that's what I did with it. So there is now some of that beautiful yarn going back to the US. So that was a good use for it and then that way I could knit other things, which is why I was very, very thankful that by the time I got there, I was very thankful that I had still and it was actually, I'd thrown it in because this is like the knitting that I was doing while I was at the airport, because this is obviously too bulky to bang out when you're sort of sitting and waiting and what have you. So I threw what I call the purse knitting in, which of course is my lovely, this is Orb Fine, which has been hand dyed by the fabulous Sue Goodley from Sue's Hand Dyed Yarns. And I grabbed this and I thought, well, I'll just work on my Niata because I haven't done it for ages. So as you can see, this has actually grown quite a bit. So I was just doing this while I was away, and actually it was lovely. It was so nice. I forgot how much I missed knitting it, and it was wonderful. And because I got the pattern memorized, it was easy. And so I'm actually quite determined to get this finished now because it was just so relaxing. So that is what I'd been working on. And that's actually going to be a gift. So I am now quite keen to get that finished. So that was sort of the knitting that I've done since I was away. And so then, of course, it leads to what next? What project next? Well, funnily enough, I get back in this morning and Claire's literally knitting a test swatch with some new yarn that got developed while I was away. And it was fabulous. It was really fabulous. Even she's like, I said, what's that? That's fabulous. And she's like, I know, it's fabulous. I'm feeling that could be coming on. But I also have some baby knitting that I've got to do. There's a baby in the wind, not for me, obviously, but for someone within our extended Skeins family, so Design Spun family. So I'm actually feeling the urge to do a little bit of baby knitting. I haven't done baby knitting for ages. So the nice thing about having the urge to do baby knitting is that I love, for baby knitting, vintage. So this is what I thought I would do, is actually grab some Lisa Reef patterns, some of our favourite Lisa Reef patterns, and knock out some baby knitting for this baby that is due, and it's going to be a winter baby, so that's really exciting, or I think it's late autumn baby due. So it's really, really exciting. And and I'm going to do some baby knitting, which should be fun because I haven't done it for ages. And I thought, well, actually, that'd be a really neat thing to do. Grab some Lisa Reef patterns, knock out some baby knitting, which of course is super quick. And when vintage is out at $4.95 all of this month, so this won't be going into epic sale, guys, because it's in this month, and this is now New Zealand made, And those are our top 12 selling colours. So that is what I'm going to be doing. That's the plan, Stan. So if you're wanting to, if you're sort of at that point where it's a bit hot and a bit sort of steamy, but you're still wanting to knit something, but only something small, why don't you grab yourself some vintage and do a bit of baby? That's what I'm going to head off and doing. And then, of course, Epic next month, which is, I can tell you right now, is going to be epic. I'm stunned at how much has come through since I've been away. There's been heaps that have come through, and a lot of it we're holding on to until Epic sale. So you're not going to see it. I've got a couple of little teasers, a couple of little things that we might sneak in this month. A few things a little early. There's a really sort of hopefully little blistering hot one-off special that I might actually, Claire and I think we might sneak in this month. But yeah, and looking at the swatch that Claire knitted, and what she knitted would have been perfect for this cardigan, I have to say. It was so good. So good. There was also a new yarn in a yarn range, which is a real favourite. And I saw the swatch on that. It's exciting. I'm actually really excited for what's coming up. It'll be so much fun. So what I think you should be doing is, if you've got patterns or things that, like, if you haven't really planned out your winter knitting yet, I would definitely get onto that. Start hunting out your patterns, start looking at what you've got there, get your quantities together with your weights and your meterages and all that kind of stuff, because honestly, when it comes to Epic sale, preparedness is the key. And so I think, and there are just so many really gorgeous, crazy, wonderful yarns. But if you've got certain projects that you want to do, there are things. There's going to be things in 4-ply. It's just standard weights: 4-ply, 10-ply, DK. So all those sorts of regulars. Plus, there'll be a few other little things here and there, but even if you just work in the sort of standard zone, that will give you a really, really good place to start. The other thing too, of course, if you're a wardrobe toolboxer, I noticed on Monday, just when I got back on Monday, Alex was launched. And if you're a wardrobe toolbox, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Alex is a gorgeous new design just released by Truly Myrtle, and it is done in Eros, and it is absolutely gorgeous, stunning. And if you are in wardrobe toolbox, you would have received your email on that with a very little special thing from us, which you must apply at the time you order. I just want to reiterate that from Claire, because we cannot apply it retrospectively. Our system won't let us do it. So just a little thing there. But yes, we've had lots of ones in here locally, people popping orders through to get that knitted, and it is, it's a really, I have to admit, I did look at that and thought, as my next project for me. In fact, I think I printed my copy out this morning. So that is definitely going on the queue. What else do I have to tell you? I'm just trying to think what else. Barbara frogging. Yeah, Barbara's just saying, started a cardigan in Highland Heathers twice. Brain fog, couldn't cope with the first two choices. Now using easier stitch pattern, went with the gut and simplified it. Barbara, I am totally feeling it. And this was a stranded colour work. And it just, how I did quite a bit of stranded colour work across the last few years. And I just started doing it, and I think it was because it was a twist on twist yarn. It wasn't sitting because of the way the twists work. It was coming up almost too pixelated, and I got enough down established in the pattern to have a look at it and go, yeah, no. And sometimes you've just got to admit defeat. And see, I got sucked in because the colours that I selected were almost dead ringers for the colours in the pattern, and I love them. And I love that collection of colours together. They're divine, which is why this other pattern that I've got, which is a mosaic design, which I designed ages ago, and I'm now going to, I can't even remember I think I wrote it down in my notebook. I'll have to dig my notebook out and check. But I know that it's sort of like a tessellating pattern, will look amazing. So, and it's a very, very simple cowl. So I'm going to get myself organized and do that cowl, because I initially did that cowl in Nomad. Who remembers that, right? The Nomad from way back when. That was the camel, I think, the camel, the yak, Polworth blend that we did a few years back, and it looked fabulous. And we had two different combinations that I did in that, and then I just didn't get it written up, and then it sold out, and then we couldn't get the fibre, so I left it. So I think I'm going to play around and do this. Hey, Patty's just saying her daughter loved her rib cowl so much that I finished knitting a second one for her. That's the rib B. I love that pattern too. It's just such a good doer, isn't it? It's a really good doer. Now, I also this morning, I haven't sent anybody emails or messages yet. I've just gone through and we did the draws for Stitch in Summer. I know, a bit tardy, 8th of February. Sorry about that. So in December, there are 4 packs going out, 2 for December, 2 for January. For December, Cheryl Becker and Natasha Marshall were our winners. And in January, it was Karen Wood and Janet Wilson. And I think I saw Janet in here just before. So congratulations. The randomizer, you were the 4 that popped out. So I've just got to finish compiling those packs together. I've got the yarn, which is a beautiful recycled blend in a 4-ply and a gorgeous step color. I'm just going to get a pattern. I'm just going to have a little scowl around for a pattern to go with it, and I'm going to box those up for you and get those sent out for you next week. So congratulations. And remember, with vintage, that is also the theme in the Speak Easy this month. So vintage, and I had a quick look at when I was doing everything this morning. When I had a look, it was so neat to see lots of baby knitting is going on for the vintage theme, because people are pulling out old baby patterns and stuff. It's a perfect theme, vintage, whether it be old styles. And I have to admit, I saw Nick, if you're in the Speakeasy, and he posted this, I think at the end of January, because he'd completed it. He won actually the Speakeasy prize. I think it was way back in September. And I know he is a fond knitter of men's vintage patterns. And I had this gorgeous old vintage pattern book. I think it was from the 40s. And in there was this really gorgeous ferrule vest. And I managed to pull together colours for that ferrule vest as for his prize pack, and sent that out to us with Mahana. And he actually, it's not a vest, it was cardigan, and he's completed it, and it is gorgeous. So if you want to hunt that out on the Speakeasy, it is utterly stunning. And I think I actually might share that in the newsletter today, of some gorgeous modern, how you can give new life to these vintage patterns. It is just always so much fun. And the neat thing about vintage patterns too is if they're beyond a certain age, they're also out of copyright. So and sometimes they take a little bit of conversion, and the sizing may not necessarily be there, but especially when it comes to kids stuff, or even accessories like hats or things like that, they're a really, really, really wonderful thing to make in working with vintage patterns. So, let your imagination go wild. And of course, part of the reason we do vintage for February is it is Art Deco month here in Hawke's Bay. I can't believe it, because it's the 8th already. And I think, Mark, you're in here, Margaret. I think Art Deco starts, is it next week or the week after? I think it is next week, isn't it? It's the whole celebrations here, and everything just goes deco crazy, and it's a really joyous time to be in Napier, that's for sure. So if you're traveling for Art Deco, do come and see us. The store will be open. We'd love to see you, pick up some vintage, and just enjoy. And as well as obviously cruise season, we've got a whole load of ships in. I just saw the schedule for the weekend. I think we've got another 3 or 4 ships in over the next few days, and we've had a number come in of onboard ships. So again, if we're open, we will be here Monday through Saturday, and it's 10 till 3:30 during the week, and 10 to 1 on Saturdays. And we're only a 7-minute drive from town, very, very short Uber ride away if you want to come visit. from the eyesight. Right, I'm going to head off, so I'm going to keep getting things loaded up, and I've got a list of things to do. I haven't even started the newsletter. I barely even crawled my way through the emails, so I better go and do that. But I will be back, and it is so good to be back. It's so good to see everybody, and I will see you again here on hopefully, fingers crossed, on Monday. If I'm not here on Monday, it's because I've got an appointment that I haven't been able to shift, but hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be here Monday, but definitely here next Thursday. Until then, take care.